Yes, hello everyone. Hello classmate and of course hello sir. This day we will discuss about the rules and competencies of school heads, which is in chapter 12. Which actually this is the last chapter in this lesson. So we'll discuss today the rules and competences of school heads. By the way, I am Lucino Junior C. Sugabo together with my group mates.
I'm Tisha May Esteringan.
And I am Karjan Sisingkol.
And yes, actually, we have here the learning objectives for today or the learning outcomes, which is at the end of this chapter, the learners can discuss the competencies expected of school heads as contained in competency frameworks for the Philippines and Southeast Asia. All right, for us to be enlightened more about the topic, let us first discuss what is the rule, the competencies, and of course the school heads. Ayan. So when we say rule, a rule is a series of connected behaviors, the rights, the obligations, beliefs, and conventions that people is in a social setting conceptualize. So kaya nga sa isang posisyon, meron tayong mga iba-ibang papel. So that is actually one of the example of a rule. So when we say competencies, this is actually the knowledge, abilities, the behaviors and skills of individual that contribute towards the success and of course the performance of an organization. Okay, so the school head, this is actually both administrative and instructional leader. So we know that the primary function of the school is the students' learning. So the school heads spend more time as an instructional leader. He or she further supervise instruction by observing the teachers. So sabi nga ni Choi Wang 2021, the school heads have various areas of responsibility, including the human resources, the financial resources, educational activities of the students and the teachers, the external relations, the well-being of students and the teachers, and of course, the teaching students. Sabi nga, good leadership in schools fosters nurturing learner and environments that helps children grow and develop. Okay, so what is Republic Act 9155? So are you following? Okay, so the Republic Act 9115, the Governance of the Basic Education Act of 2001, also known as the Republic Act 9155 establishes an integrative framework for principal empowerment. Okay, so it enhanced the principal and leadership goals as well as the local school-based administration towards maintaining the transparency and of course the local responsibility. This is actually the source coming from Ombudsman gov.ph 2013. Okay, let us proceed now in the competencies for school heads. Okay, so there are competencies actually for instructional leadership and administrative leadership in the list of the competencies expected of school heads. Okay, so let us look at the competencies expected of the school heads as contained in the National Competency-Based Standards for school heads, or this actually issued in the Memo Dep Ed Order 32 series of 2010. Okay, so we have here the core principles. So, okay, in the core principle, there are the different domains. So we have first the domain one, which is concerned in the school leadership. Okay, so the domain one is concerned actually the process of engaging and leading the skills and efforts of teachers, the students, and the parents towards achieving common educational goal, whereas it is further concerned towards the developing of and communicating the vision, the mission, the goals, and objectives of the school or VMGO. It is actually concerned also the data-based strategic planning, The problem solving, the bulging high performance teams, coordinating with others, and of course, leading and managing change. Okay, so next one is the domain 2. So are you following? Okay, on domain 2, we have the instructional leadership. Okay, dito sa instructional leadership, it is actually the school leadership approach in which a principal collaborates with teachers to give support and advice in the development of effective teaching practices. Okay, it is actually concerned in assessment for learning, the developing programs and adapting existing programs, implementing programs for instructional improvement, and of course, instructional supervision. Okay, so in domain 3, it is actually creating student-centered learning climate. So dito naman sa creating a student-centered learning climate, it is actually concerned in the setting high social and academic expectations. So creating the school environment focused on the needs of the learners. Okay, so we have here the domain 4, which is the management and professional. Okay, dito sa domain 4, it is actually concerned in creating professional learning community, recruitment and hiring, the managing performance, or it is actually concerned in the management, no? Management of performance of the teachers and staff. Okay, in domain 5, it is it focuses towards the parent involvement and community partnership. Okay, dito sa domain 5, it is concerned actually in the parent involvement, then the external community partnership. Okay, in domain 6, we have the school management and operations. Okay, dito is it was concerned on the managing the school and operation, the fiscal management. And lastly, we have the domain 7, which is actually the personal and professional attributes and interpersonal effectiveness. So dito sa domain 7, this is actually concerned in professionalism, communication, interpersonal sensitivity, the calmness, honesty, and integrity. So balikan lang natin doon sa domain 6 kanina, may nakalimutan tayo. So the domain 6 is actually concerned also in the use of technology and the management of operation. So now let us proceed with the competency and framework for Southeast Asian School Heads 2014 edition with Trisha May Siringan.
Thank you, Mr. Lucino. So, Competency Framework for Southeast Asia School Heads. So, what is Competency Framework? So, the Competency Framework was envisioned to provide a common foundation for defining what skills and attributes are needed of school heads in order to effectively carry out their rules and lead their schools to excellence and success. Ministry of Education officials may find the framework an important and useful benchmark. School heads may find it useful in keeping themselves informed of the competencies that they need in order to successfully perform their role as school heads in Southeast Asia. So, in competency framework for Southeast Asia school heads, there are four domains. These are the stakeholders engagement, managerial leadership, instructional leadership, and personal excellence. So, stakeholder engagement touches every aspect of school life in its presence, either through conscious application or as a happy consequence of good management. It is a vital factor in ensuring that your school is capable of helping every individual student achieve their potential. And stakeholder engagement, they are promoting shared responsibility for school improvement, which they can build trust and lead teams or communities for school improvement and empower the community to work for the enhancement of school performance. Next is managing education alliances and network. They can communicate effectively with different stakeholders promote consensus building, and can manage conflict and practice negotiation skills. Next is sustaining collaborative relationships with stakeholders. They support community based programs and projects and communicate school performance report to stakeholders. The second domain is managerial leadership. Managerial leadership, it is important and necessary to manage education in school effectively and efficiently to achieve quality education expected by all parties. The school principal is the actual organization manager who did the strategies that has been decided to achieve educational goals. Management school resources and systems, they manage financial resources, they manage learning environments, and they manage systems and procedures. Managing staff performance, they manage the school personnel requirements, supporting the professional development of staff and recognize staff performance. Managing sustainable school programs and projects. They demonstrate and project management, promote school-based programs and projects that support sustainable development. The third domain is instructional leadership. It is a model of school leadership in which a principal works uh, alongside teachers to provide support and guidance in establishing best practice in teaching staff and together set clear goals related to student achievement. Under the instructional leadership, this leading, leading curricular implementation and improvement. It manages curricular implementation. They promote sensitivity of the diversity and differentiated instruction, creating learner-centered environment. They promote learner-centered activities, promoting a healthy, safe, and inclusive learning environment and promote a culture of peace and respect for diversity. Supervising and evaluating teachers' performance, they apply appropriate models for supervision and evaluation and nurture teachers' leader. Delivering planned learning outcomes. It promotes team-based approaches to instructional leadership and manage assessment and improve teaching and learning. The last domain is personal excellence. It is the journey of positive development beyond oneself and is a step-by-step process of improving oneself in every aspect of life. Although the process is difficult and requires patience, but it benefits those who want to live a successful and happy life. Under the personal excellence, managing personal effectiveness, they lead by example and demonstrate transparency and accountability. They practice a balanced, healthy lifestyle and take pride in one's profession and deliver results. Acting on challenges and possibilities. They manage priorities and exhibit decisiveness in addressing challenges and exhibit an enterprising attitude. And last is pursuing continuous. They take responsibility for lifelong learning and advocate ASEAN values and perspective. That's all. Next is Mr. Sincol. Thank you.
Domains and competencies for school heads in Southeast Asia. Under the domains and competencies for school heads in Southeast Asia, there is instructional leadership, administrative leadership, and school head in the community. And instructional leadership, like NCBSSH or the competency-based standards for school heads for the Philippines, the Competency Framework for Southeast Asia school heads also includes domains for instructional leadership and administrative leadership. The domain of instructional leadership encompasses four competencies. First, the leading curriculum implementation and improvement. Second, creating a learner-centered environment. Third, surprising and evaluating teachers' performance. And lastly, delivering planned to learn outcomes. Administrative leadership includes strategic thinking and innovation in Domain 1, stakeholders engagement in Domain 4, and managerial leadership in Domain 5. For enabling competencies for each domain. Personal excellence, or another domain, relates to both instructional and administrative leadership. Whatever personal improvement school heads have on their personal effectiveness. Pursuing continuous professional development rebounds to improved administrative and instructional leadership. In the school head and the community, like a refrain in a song. The idea that the school and the community are partners in the child's education has been said repeatedly in this book. Rightly so. To be faithful to the descriptive title of this course, the teacher in the community, school culture, and organization leadership. In fact, in this book, a separate chapter was devoted to school and community partnership to emphasize the significant role of teachers and the school heads concerning communities. In the NCBSSH, several strands and indicators point to this school and community partnership. The strands are the follows: involves internal and external stakeholders in formulating and achieving school vision, mission, goals, and objective. And also it explains the school's vision to general public, aligns the school improvement plan, annual improvement plan with national, regional, and local education policies and trusts. It also communicates SIP, AIP effectively to internal and external stakeholders, and it involves stakeholders in meetings and deliberation for decision making in the 1B. Provides feedback and updates to stakeholders on the status of progress and completion of programs and projects. It also creates and manages a school process to ensure student progress is conveyed to students and parents or guardian regularly in Domain 2C. It also recognizes high-performing learners and teachers and supportive parents and also other stakeholders. Prepares financial reports or submits, communicates the same to higher education authorities and other educational partners in Domain 6B. It also maintains harmonious and pleasant personal and official relations with superiors, colleagues, subordinates, learners, parents, and other stakeholders. In school head and the community, it also listens to stakeholders' needs and concerns and responds appropriate in consideration of the political, social, legal, and cultural context. In the Southeast Asian Competency Framework, the following competencies strengthen school and community partnership. First, promoting shared responsibility for school improvement. Second, managing education alliances and networks. And lastly, sustaining collaborative relationships with stakeholders. That's all. Thank you for listening.
Well, thank you so much, guys, for listening, and we hope that you've learned something for today's discussion. Lastly, this is Lucino Junior C. Sugabo, together with my group mates. Thank you so much for listening.